Hi friends, welcome to Cracku's video series. I'm Sayali. I'm one of the co-founders of Cracku and an alumna of IIM Ahmedabad. In today's video, we'll be discussing how beginners should go about preparing for CAT. A lot of students ask us that they are taking CAT for the first time, what should they do, what should they not do. So this video should serve as a guide for people who are taking CAT for the first time. I'll talk about few of the common mistakes beginners make, as well as where you should start as such. So let's first identify the common mistakes made by most students who take CAT for the first time. So the first thing that the most common mistake most students make is starting late on in the year. So this is, I think, a undergraduation or an engineering mindset where people believe that as they prepare for exams, where they believe that okay, I'll stay up late I'll start 1 month before the exam, or I'll start 1 week before the exam, or I'll prepare 1 day before the exam. This has kind of this has become a mindset of many people during undergrad. So this is the most common mistake most students make, where they feel that they'll only put in serious effort in the last 1 month for CAT. But CAT is not like other exams. It's mostly an exam about your skill set and aptitude test. So for improving in that kind of a test, you have to put in consistent effort for a long period of time. Only if you put in consistent effort over like 6 months or 7 months would you have appreciable improvement in your skills as far as solving reading comprehension is concerned, as far as your verbal skills are concerned, your logical reasoning skills are concerned. So all of these require the improvement in these kind of skills require consistent effort over months. This is not something you can do over a month. Forget, obviously you can't do it over like a week or a day, but building these kind of skills take a long period of time. Most of the students regret not starting early, especially with their verbal skills, because if you don't start like 7 months before, 8 months before, you won't be able to build up important skills such as having a reading habit, having a large vocabulary, improving your comprehension skills. All of these require months of effort. You won't improve your reading ability in a month or even like a couple of weeks. To inculcate a reading habit, it will take you at least 7 to 8 months. So you have to start off preparing early enough so that you can have good reading skills, you have good comprehension skills, logical reasoning skills. All of these take time. So make sure that you start at least I would suggest you start as soon as possible. So if you are watching this video now and you are preparing for CAT 2019, please start off now, because 9 months is an ideal time for you to actually put in for preparing for CAT. At least spend more than 6 months preparing for CAT. That's the very least you should do, especially if you are taking it for the first time. There is a lot of base to be covered. There's a lot of foundation to be placed. So please make sure that you start off at least 6 months before CAT. The second thing that you have to remember is that you should not go about it blindly. You should have a plan of action in place, because if you have, say you have 9 months in front of you, and this 9 months can be either extremely productive and efficient, or you can be unproductive, haphazard preparation, and inefficient preparation in general. So what do I mean by inefficient preparation? It means that if you learn something, you don't practice it, then you have to redo those things. Or if you keep working on only one set of skills while completely ignoring other parts of the CAT syllabus. So always make sure that if you prepare in an inefficient way, where you have to keep relearning the same thing again and again, then it would be a waste of your time. You need to have a plan of action in front of you so that your time is efficiently utilized. So what do I mean by efficiently utilized? I mean that every time you actually sit down and prepare, you learn something new. If you practice, it should lead to an actual improvement in your skills. It should lead to an actual improvement in your ability to answer questions from that topic. If you feel that in spite of all the time you're spending learning a particular topic, if you see no improvement in the end result, if you're not even able to do easy questions from that particular topic, then there is definitely an error in the way you're going about learning. So always make sure that you have a plan in place, you have a strategy in place, that in this particular week I'm going to do this, I'm going to practice this concept, and in this way I'm going to add to my skill set in this particular way. So you should have a plan or strategy in place. We recommend that you have a weekly plan or a weekly schedule. The reason why I say that there should be a weekly schedule is because most students tend to have some free time on Saturdays and Sundays, and it's for most CAT takers, it's extremely important that you utilize the weekend extremely well. So you should have goals for every week. You should have goals about what tests you're going to take, what concepts you're going to learn, how many questions you are going to practice, and you should have these goals in front of you on a week by week basis. If you go on a week by week basis, you can see whether you're hitting your goals or not. Moreover, the CAT syllabus is not very expansive, but it is not trivial either. So you need a decent amount of time to actually cover all the formulas that are concerned. You need decent amount of time to actually solve enough number of questions from these formulas so that you have confidence about using these formulas and using these concepts. So make sure that you have a weekly schedule. In that weekly schedule, you write down what concepts you are going to learn, what concepts you are going to practice, and how many mocks or tests you are going to take. So if you start your preparation by making a weekly schedule and putting it up in front of you, you would have made you would have taken a significant step towards cracking CAT 2019. Now, the third biggest mistake that a lot of students make is that they don't have a clear idea of what is included, what is part of the syllabus, what is not part of the syllabus. A lot of students I know spend so much time doing things like revising things from number systems, or spend a lot of time learning obscure concepts. If you have actually taken CAT 2018 and CAT 2017, you know that the biggest parts of the syllabus in quant are actually arithmetic and geometry. But if you see many of the videos or tutorials for CAT, you would find that a lot of teachers give undue importance to things that are not asked a lot in CAT. For example, combinatorics has very diminished status as far as CAT syllabus is concerned. Same with number systems, remainder theorems, they have reduced in their importance. Now, you would know this if you had already taken CAT, but if you're a beginner, you would not know this. So always make sure that you give the required amount of importance to the areas that matter. You know what is the syllabus, what is the percentage of questions that come. You know how much questions come from which topic, and based on their importance and how many questions come from that topic, you have a good grip of how many questions from that you will be able to solve. So if you are preparing from 9 months onward, you should aim to be rock solid in arithmetic and geometry. Reading comprehension forms the bulk of VARC, so that should be your focus. Grammar and sentence correction have not been asked in CAT for a very long time, so do not waste time on things that are unnecessary. So go through the syllabus, see what questions were asked over the last 2 years. I'm not saying don't do remainder theorems, don't do grammar and sentence correction. You should do all of those things, because you're not going to be only taking CAT. These things appear in ZAT, appear in NMAT, IIFT. There are a lot of MBA exams, and these appear in other MBA exams as such. So I'm not saying do not prepare for CAT, but have a very good hold of what is the actual exam syllabus and what you have to spend time preparing. Do not spend time preparing on things that are not as important, and it should not be that you miss out on key topics like arithmetic. You should give arithmetic the due consideration. Know that it has a lot of questions from arithmetic come in CAT, and you should be very, very good in all arithmetic topics to do well in CAT. So have a good thorough look at syllabus, see what all topics are included, what are their weightages, and only if you have a good idea of what the syllabus is, should you actually start your preparation and make your weekly schedule. If you have a misconception about what the syllabus is, what are important topics, you would actually spend your time in an inefficient way, and you would waste your time on things that don't really matter a whole lot. The fourth thing that I've seen often is that a lot of students tend to watch a lot of videos but not practice a whole lot. At Cracku, we always advocate that there should be a balance between active preparation and passive preparation. So what is passive preparation? Passive preparation is you see a video, you get an idea of what the concept is, you get an idea of what you learn something new. But if you don't actually go and practice questions from that particular topic, it will be absorbed on a superficial level, and you will like forget it after a couple of weeks. So always make sure that you put in a decent amount of practice. Whenever you learn a new concept, please go back and make sure that you practice those concepts. It's very easy with Cracku study room. In Cracku study room, questions are arranged according to topic. So if you learn something new from a particular topic, please go to that particular topic and practice questions from that topic. So always make sure that whenever you learn a new concept, you test out your understanding of that concept with a concept test. At Cracku, every video comes with a concept test, every note comes with a concept test, so you don't have to do that consciously. You will just have to follow the schedule as such. But if you're using other learning aids, what I would suggest is, if you view a video, make sure you solve at least 5 to 10 questions based on that concept. If you do not solve enough questions based on a concept that you learn, you will not be actually absorbing that concept on a deep level as such. So make sure that you balance between active as well as passive preparation. Another thing to remember between active and passive preparation is, so suppose this is your time from now to CAT 2019, so November 2019. Okay, so you have this is your time you're going to spend. Suppose you're going to spend say 3 hours every day, say 3 hours every day, or say you spend 21 hours per week, and you do most of that preparation over the weekends. It's your choice, as long as you put in consistent effort. Even if it's a weekly effort, that's fine. But suppose you put in 3 hours every day. So suppose you arrange the 3 hours from now to November 2019. The key thing to remember is that at the start your preparation will be like this, where most of your time would be spent on passive preparation, where you will be learning new concepts, you will be revising fundamentals, you will be seeing formulas for the first time, you will be seeing concepts for the first time. But as time passes, this should shift over to active preparation. From passive preparation, you should be going on to active preparation. Now you might spend most of your time learning concepts and doing little bit of practice, but as time passes, this should shift to you actually doing more practice and less learning, because the number of concepts are limited. So you'll be watching some videos now, you'll be taking some tests now, but as time passes, you should make sure that you solve more and more questions based on what you have learned till now. This should be, you should progress in such a way that come November, you should be just taking tests. I remember that when I prepared for CAT in the last week before CAT, I just kept on solving question papers. I solved as many mock papers I could find. I solved question paper like previous year's papers. I solved other unproctored mock tests, etc. So make sure that you keep shifting towards active preparation as time passes. You take more and more mock tests as CAT 2019 draws closer. So always make sure that you do not focus too much on passive preparation and ignore active preparation as such. It's easy to do passive preparation, you just let the video continue and you feel that you're learning. But if you do not actually use the concept to solve questions, if you do not solve LR sets, if you do not solve reading comprehension sets, you would not be really improving. So make sure that you balance passive preparation with active preparation. The fifth thing that you have to remember is that it's very easy to continue solving questions which you are comfortable with, like those that are your strengths. A lot of students are good at DILR, a lot of students are good at reading comprehension, a lot of students are good at quant. It's pretty easy for people like that to continue doing just what they are good at and ignore some things that they are not good at. If you are not good at one section, please make sure that you put in more time on that section. Do not ignore sections that you are not good at, because that's not helping you reach your end goal. Your end goal is to have a good score in CAT 2019. So it should not be that you focus on the short term of what you want to do now or what you would rather be doing now, and sacrifice your long-term goal of doing well in CAT 2019. Make sure that you spend enough time on your weaknesses. Ignoring your weaknesses will not help you. So identify which areas are your strength. If you are comfortable in these some particular areas, it's okay to revise from that area, it's okay to solve questions from that area and practice from that area. But you should earmark specific time for those areas that you're not good at. Make sure that of the 21 hours that you spend every week, you spend at least 10 hours in areas that you are weak in. If you don't spend at least 10 hours doing things that you are not very good at, you would not improve a whole lot in overall. Because think of it in this way. There is, if you're already good at something, there is a cap to how much further you can rise. And for every particular hour that you spend on something you're pretty already good at, where you start from a high base, the return that you get in terms of marks will be limited. But if you start from a low base, if it's something that you're not very good at, and if you improve even slightly, because you're starting off from a low base, there's a considerable amount of scope for improvement. Every additional mark in, say, VARC will considerably improve your overall percentile. Every additional mark in DILR will considerably improve your percentile. So make sure that you spend significant amount of time in areas where you're not comfortable in areas that you consider your weaknesses. Do not ignore things that you don't like solving. Just because you don't like solving does not mean that you should not solve those areas. I know a lot of students who only do DILR during mock tests because they avoid doing any DILR sets outside of mocks. You will not be getting any better at DILR by doing that. DILR takes a lot of practice, dedicated practice, months of practice. So make sure that you identify what your weaknesses are and you earmark time every single week for improving in those areas. The last thing that I will actually say is that this is based off a lot of queries that we receive from students. A lot of students kind of fixate on their 10th and 12th marks and ask us, okay, this was my 10th mark, this was my 12th mark. How much do I need to score to get a call from XYZ? So don't focus or fixate on the results. Believe in the process, focus on the process, focus on improving your preparation. If you fixate on the results, it's not going to do anything for you in terms of improving you or getting to the actual result. If just like fixating saying that I will need at least 99.5 percentile to get XYZ result will not actually make you get that kind of a result. It will only waste your time. Instead of fixating on what result you need, just fixate on the process. Focus on the process. Say that, okay, I need to focus on improving in XYZ areas. If you focus on the process, the results will follow. If you just give too much headspace to how much percentile you need to score, or even like fixate on things that are no longer in your control, like your 10th results or your 12th results or your undergrad scores, you're not going to be able to do anything about them. They are in the past. So instead of focusing on what has already happened or what is in the past, focus on what lies ahead of you. Focus on how you can go from here to the best CAT score that you can get in CAT 2019. So make sure that you do not focus on the past, focus on the future, focus on the process. How do I improve? How do I get in that additional 1%? How do I improve? How do I get this additional 3 marks? Every mock test that you take, you should be looking at what questions you missed and focus on how you can not miss that in the next mock CAT. If you focus on what you can control, that is your performance in CAT 2019, if you focus on how you can actually improve and do better in that, your worrying, your thought process, all of that will be far more productive. If you focus on things that are not in your control, it is entirely a wholly unproductive exercise as such. So focus on the process, put in your entire thinking into what your plan should be, what you need to do to be prepared for CAT 2019. Don't focus on things that are extraneous to that. So these are the common mistakes I would say that people should avoid for when they are preparing for CAT. Now that you know what traps you shouldn't fall into, let's start off by thinking of where you should start. If you're a complete beginner, you'd be you'd not be sure of where you can start. There's a lot of things to learn, and you don't know exactly where you should start, what you should start viewing, what you should start by doing. So the thing that I always tell students is start with the mock test. I would suggest that take a mock test. The best case mock test would be if you have not solved questions from the previous year's CAT, take the previous year's CAT as a mock test. Cracku lets you do that for free. We have put up CAT 2017 and CAT 2018 as mock tests. You can take that in a timed manner. So make sure that you take that mock test. So you'll get a real life feel of what would have happened if you had actually sat for those exams. Take them with all seriousness. Take them as if you were there on that day giving the exam. What that will give you is that will give you an idea of where you stand. Because you need to have some idea or some input about what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you can do, what kind of what is the work that is left to be done. So for that you need some amount of feedback, and the feedback you generally get, the best feedback you get about your CAT preparation is via mocks. Practice tests are essential, sectional tests are essential, but how you do in actual mocks is the best feedback you can possibly have as to how good your preparation is. So start off by taking a mock. I would suggest start off with CAT 2017 or CAT 2018. Those are the best starting points for you to get a good idea of where you can begin your preparation. Now that you have taken the test, take it with complete seriousness. Do not take it lightly. Once you're done with that, analyze the mock. So what do I mean by analyze the mock? Start by identifying, okay, these are the questions that I got right. These are the questions I got right. So this question is from arithmetic, this question is from algebra, this question is from say time, speed, distance. Then just find if there is a pattern. Are you good at arithmetic? Are you good at geometry? Are you good at reading comprehension? At the same time, you also make a list of your weaknesses. Okay, that I spent so much time answering this question, but I got it wrong. And I have all the topics that where I couldn't answer any question from. All the topics where I spent too much time as compared to what I should have. So make a list of your weaknesses. Now get a good idea of what your attempt rate was and what your attempt rate should be. So you're given the fact that everybody gets an R, your attempt rate should be at least 80% if you are to do really well in CAT. Now if that is your target attempt rate, now start thinking where you spend time unnecessarily. Start finding places where you are not as speedy as you should be. So you will get some idea about a first topics you are not good at. So topics you can't even solve questions from, it would mostly be because you do not know the formulae or you do not know the basic concepts. So now you have a list of things that you have to do, list of concepts that you have to learn, you have a list of topics that you have to cover. Secondly, you also have a list of areas where you spend too much time solving. That means if you spend too much time solving something, it means you do not have a lot of practice there. So now you have a list of things in front of you, what you have to learn and what you have to practice. Now start, now that you have an idea of what you're good at and what you're bad at, make a list of the syllabus. Now you know what the syllabus is, you should have a schedule. As I said, make a weekly schedule. For students of Cracku, we already have a weekly schedule for all of our crash courses. In the weekly schedule, we cover concepts, every week we cover some concepts, we have tests on it, and we go over that through a revision lecture. So what we try to do is that we try to make sure that our students learn, that they practice, they analyze where they went right or went wrong via the revision videos, and they course correct as such. So you can either join the crash course, or even if you are not sure of joining the crash course, just take a look at the weekly schedule, because having a schedule in front of you would improve you every single day. If you have a to-do list in front of you, you're far more likely to actually do things than if you don't have anything in front of you. So I always feel that if you have a schedule, if you have a plan of action, you are far more efficient and you get more things done. So always, now that you have like a list of things that you need to work on, list of things to learn, to practice, make a weekly schedule based on your particular strengths and weaknesses, on what you need to learn and what the whole syllabus is. So you should cover the whole syllabus while putting special emphasis on your particular weaknesses, and make a weekly schedule. So you have the schedule at least saying that this is what I have to do in this week, this is what I have to do in this week, this is what I have to do in this week. As you keep going through the schedule, you'll be keeping on taking mock tests. From now till November, you'll be taking at least 20 mock tests. With every mock test, keep updating your list of strengths and weaknesses. Figure out things that you have gotten good at and are no longer your weaknesses. Find out things that you are actually pretty strong in. So your strengths are things that are going to take you from like 95 percentile to 99 percentile. So you need to keep working on your strengths also, because if you just get stuck at 95 percentile where you are average and everything, it's not going to get you a good overall CAT score. So you have to work on your strengths as well. So as you keep on taking the mocks, keep updating what are your areas, what you're good at. I would suggest that have a list of the syllabus in front of you at all points of time. Whatever is your study area, draw write down and print out the syllabus, CAT syllabus, and keep it in front of you. Also print out your strengths and weakness areas and keep it in front of you and keep updating this list. So whenever you see that okay, something is no longer a weakness, you strike it off. This is actually a lot of positive reinforcement. It will keep spurring you on to do better over time. Because if you see that you have actually gotten better over time, it will keep you motivated to focus and improve till November 2019. So make sure that you have this list and keep it in your visual areas of study areas. If you have them in front of you, they will keep motivating you as such. As I said, keep earmark time for both strengths and weaknesses. Do not ignore things that you are not good at. It's easy to run away from your problems, but that's not going to help you in CAT 2019. If you see a problem, fix it. If you see that you're not good at DILR, make sure that you spend at least 2 hours every week doing a DILR set. Do not leave it to CAT date to miraculously do well in DILR. So earmark time for improving on strengths and addressing weaknesses. As I said, you should strike a balance between learning and practice. So make sure that when you write your weekly schedule, you keep in mind that okay, at the start I will spend more time learning and less time practicing, but I should keep on changing the schedule over week so that I practice more and spend less time passively watching videos and more time solving questions. This as I said, that shift from passive to active should always be in the back of your mind, that this shift needs to occur over time. So if you follow these kind of structural rules, if you follow an organized way of preparing, you'd maximize your chances of doing well in CAT 2019. I always recommend a structured approach to learning. You should have schedules in front of you. If you are not somebody who can take the syllabus and put it up in a schedule format, take a schedule that is available for free. Cracku schedule, even if you are not part of the crash course, it is available for free. You can just see what is there, what is being done every week, and through your own sources you can learn that, and you can practice based on that. It is easier if you are a crash course student, but even if you are not, you can follow that schedule. It's important that you have weekly goals. Only then would you have and actually improve every single day and achieve the overall goal. Always remember that this is a long-term goal. This is not like other exams where you mug the night before and just remember it for 24 hours and write something and come back. This is not about memory. This is about actual reasoning, quantitative and verbal skills. And skills do not improve overnight. They improve 1% at a time. And if you have to improve 1% at a time, you have to consciously think, okay, where is the next marginal improvement? Where is the next marginal improvement? Where can I get the next 3 marks additional to what I already have? Where is the place where I'm missing out? So you have to always continuously look out for where the next marginal improvement is. Where is the next 1% improvement that you can think of? Even if it's not in terms of a new concept, if it's just in form of a way you can cut down on your time to calculate, or your time to draw a table, or your time to organize information, even if it's just something as simple as that, if it improves your overall ability to answer questions by even a percentage, you should focus on getting that. If you improve by 1% every single day for a year, you will be 37 times of what you currently are. So it's basically 1% raised to 365 is 37.78. So you'd be much better at things than you are today if you just focus on improving 1% every single day. On the other hand, if you allow your preparation to slide, 1 minus 1% every day is 0.0255. So you slide down to nothing if you just decrease by 1% every day. Over a course of a year, you would slide down to nothing. So make sure you don't let that happen. Make sure that you improve every single day by even a slight bit. If you can improve, do that. This is a game of marginal improvement. This will not occur with some over a extended weekend or over a just overnight. You can't get a lot better at CAT. You have to do it over the course of many months. You have to just keep on getting slightly better than what you were the previous week. So just focus on that and focus on the process, and the results will follow. Thank you for tuning in.